Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Snapshot webinar. My name is Vlad Sinjozan, and today's topic is the Alarm Portal. This can be used in addition to the well-known alarm handling features in StableNet, like the dashboards you can see here or the alarm list. And its main additional feature is grouping alarms in containers. It is especially useful for users concentrating on working with alarms, for example, NOC users, but not only, obviously. And a nice feature is also that it supports multiple StableNet servers. So you can work with alarms for multiple servers in one portal centrally. How can you all access it? I'm here just on a demo system here in Würzburg. It's available here when you go to alarm to external applications, and you can see here the alarm portal. You can open it, and then it will open a new window. You can, of course, also just type the URL, and then you will be able to access it as well. What do we see here? This is the default view. We see the alarm table here for the all open alarms. And you can use all the typical features that you know from StableNet for a table. We have here some table columns that we can display or not display. For example, if you're not working with tickets like we want today, we can disable showing these columns. We can apply filters. For example, if you only want to show critical alarms, if you want to show critical, major, and minor alarms, the same is possible also if you want to only look at acknowledged alarms, for example, or not acknowledged. Works in a similar way, obviously. You can also, let me disable this filter here. You can also move the columns if you want. So for example, let's say if the description is important to you, you can move it here to the front. So it's before the name even. And you can also filter. So for example, if you go here to the comment, we can filter, for example, for config. And then we can see we have some alarms that have some comments regarding a config issue. Anything else is, as you know it from working with alarms somewhere else, I can always click on an alarm. So for example, if I double click here, you can see the details. You can see the alarm data. You can see also here the history of different events that happened here. For example, here there was a comment set some time ago. You can see the alarm impact and also the symptoms. Like in the GUI, this alarm has no symptoms, but we will look at an alarm with symptoms later on. And you can also see the action events. So you can see also the OK events for the alarms you selected. You can also change here the time frame, so you can go back into the past if you want to see more action events or less, depending on what the use case is. What is also possible, it's possible to drill down. So for example, we see here we have a config status alarm for this device. It's possible to say I want to see more details for this. So I want to jump, for example, to the device dashboard. I will jump to a new open portal where I can see the status of this device. I can see this is, by the way, the all new device dashboard. You can see here the status and all the measurements and so on. It is also possible to jump to analyze it directly if you want. Now, going back here, we have seen pretty much all of the features here, the main features of the table. Let's now start working with what is really interesting here, mainly the container. So for this, we can start by creating a new container. So for example, there are some issues with the ZTP switch here. So I can just call this ZTP switch. For example, there's a cleanup time after which the container will be cleaned up. During this time, you will also see the states of the monitors, even if they clear, which is very useful. Maybe we can see an example on this a bit later on. There's also an option to send reports about the container if you want, but you can configure here. But this is not the scope of the webinar, so we will continue with creating this. And now we have here a new container. At the moment, this container is empty. But what we can do is we have a lot of alarms for the ZTP switch. So let me filter here by name, and I can just take one alarm and move it here. Now it has been moved from the list here to my container, but I can also select all, which is easier. And I can either drag and drop, or from the menu here, I can select move it to container, and I can select this. We have just one container. Because my filter is active, now the list is completely empty, but of course, without the filter, it's not empty. And now I can switch between these open alarms and also this container that we have here. What is also possible is to work with different profiles. This is also a feature of the portal. So let's look also into how a profile works. For this, I will go here to manage profiles, and I will create a new profile. Let's just call it demo for now. Administrators will be assigned as administrators for this profile, and then we will also add users as a user group that can also work with this. And we can also in this step assign filters that are to be used for this profile. So let's take, for example, let's take both, why not? These are two filters that I created previously. So now we can create this profile, and we've switched already to this profile. Now you can see immediately that the view has changed. We are back to the default view, the open alarms, and we have no container because the container and also all the settings are stored per profile. So for example, if I want to work here with a ticket, I can work with these columns, can also collapse this. And then if I click save, if I return to the profile or somebody else uses the profile, the settings will be saved. The same is true for the containers. So if let's create a new container. I generated some alarms before we started. So some of the Cisco devices in our VLAB are going to go down or are already down. So let's just call it Cisco VLAB outage. And let's create this. And now we can see here, this is actually a correlated alarm already, which is a nice example. So part of the Cisco VLAB is down, alarms are coming in, and we will still have some alarms coming in as we are progressing with the webinar. So let's first move the alarms here. And you can see same, it has been moved from the open alarms to this container here. And if I switch to the container, back to overview, switch to the container, I click on the name, okay. You can see we have here the alarms. Now we have 88 symptoms. Symptoms will be coming in as we speak because the outage is happening right now. And you can work here with the alarms as in the default view. So for example, we have seen the details of the alarm. For this one, it's a nice example. We can also take a look at all of the symptoms. We can see it here. Because the correlation happens in the background, all the alarms that come in as symptoms for this alarm will also be assigned automatically based on the root cause, because the root cause is part of this container. They will be assigned to this container. What you can also do, obviously, you can add a comment. So for example, we can just click here, add comment, and we can call it also Cisco VLAB outage. And you have the possibility here to move it directly to another container if you want, but we will leave it in the current one. I can set a comment. And now that we have this comment, I can show you the filter. So if you go here to alarm filter, we have the filters that have been assigned to us. So the Cisco VLAB outage filter, you can see if I'm switching to this filter, I can still see all this. I think it's all alarms. Actually, it's more. We have more in the meantime. And if I switch to the config issue, I will not say anything because there's no config issue alarms here. If you go back to all, we will see all of them. You can see now we have 101. If we go back to the main view, we can create a second container. So of course, it's not limited to one. You can have multiple ones. We have also some config issue alarms. So let's call it just config issues and create it. And if we look at the comment again, we see that we have a lot of config issue alarms here. So I can take some of them or all of them and move them to the config issues. Of course, if you are here in one of the containers, you can also move alarms between containers or back to the open alarms. So I could, for example, take, let's say, these 5 alarms and move them back to the open alarms. And if we go here now, for example, just to check, you can see we have the config issue filter, and then we have only 4 open alarms here. If I switch to the all filter, then I will have more, but I have a column filter active, so I have to remove that one. So now you can see we have 481. If I go here to the config issue, we have only these 4. And as I said, also the whole settings of the tables and everything can be saved. The containers can be saved, and yeah, you can use it in different profiles. Now, looking at the Cisco outage, we have an alarm filter active here. That's why it was empty. So we can see it's now 115, and this, yeah, it's still happening. You can see some of them are new, and we can use here the filter to go for the common Cisco VLAN outage. So now we'll only have some of them displayed, and if we go on all, then you will see again all of them. As these monitors will recover, they will also be visible here. So I don't know if this should happen. Maybe if we wait 2 more minutes, we should see it. Otherwise, when these monitors recover, you should see it here. You can go on the monitors. You can see the different states. We have 72 major, 45 minor, 11 marginal, and you can actually see also the monitor state. So if it's warning or probe, and when these monitors will recover, you would able to see it here, and they will remain. All the monitors will remain here in this container as long as the retain time is set. You can also set the retain time of unlimited without cleanup, then they will be there indefinitely. But usually in practice, you will work with some retain time. And then let's say for the next 24 hours in our case, after they clear, you can still see the monitor states there, and you can see what happened, how many monitors are still active, how many monitors have cleared in the meantime. Yeah, and with this, I would like to conclude today's webinar. Thank you everybody for joining, and yeah, see you next time on the InfoSim YouTube channel.